Let's talk more about this now with Anton van der Bijl, who is a legal head at Solidarity. Anton, many thanks for your time this evening. Now, rehashing the court proceedings that have been happening, you essentially are looking for this tourism equity fund to be declared illegal.
Yes, that's correct. We lodged the urgent application, which was heard on the 27th of April. Fortunately for us, we were successful in that court interdict. And yeah, we are proceeding at this point in time with the review application. We are going to the High Court and we are going to argue at the end of the day that the tourism fund is unlawful and that the minister cannot proceed with the fund.
Right, another big argument that you are making as lobby groups is that the fund should be redirected to support everyone in the industry, because everyone in the tourism industry has been negatively impacted by the effects of COVID-19.
Yes, that's correct. We sit in a crisis situation with the pandemic. The virus doesn't discriminate between races, and most certainly the circumstances doesn't discriminate if you look at the tourism sector. So we argue that at the end of the day, in this specific situation, it's not up to the minister to play politics and to use transformation imperatives. You must look at the interest of the tourism sector. And if you look after their interest, you will see that you have a lot of tourism companies that stopped at the end of the day and didn't pay their employees. So we say look at the interest of the sector, look at the interest of the tourism companies, and then pay out the funds that you have to all the individuals that's in dire need for that money.
So then, what would your response to the argument that now is as good a time as any time to transform the industry, and that this court case is frustrating transformation and there's really no politics involved in transforming the tourism industry?
Well, we say it's convenient for the minister to denounce Solidarity and Afro-Forum as sinners and as frustrating the transformation process. We ask her to look at the papers. She will not see any sentence in that specific court papers which states that we are anti-transformation. What we argue is that if you have a black economic empowerment fund such as this, then you need to comply with the rules and with the legislation that must be the foundation of such a fund. The minister, which is the ultimate authority on this fund, didn't even look at her own regulations, black economic empowerment regulations, and therefore it's a quite clear and crisp argument that the fund is unlawful. They're not anti-transformation. We say at the end of the day that this is not the time for transformation, but this case is not the case against transformation. We say the fund is unlawful and doesn't comply with the Act.
What about the fact that the fund has now received over 5 billion rand in applications? How would you then justify putting the brakes on a fund that obviously is clearly in desperate demand?
Well, you sit with 1.2 billion rand. It's not acceptable. I see that in the minister's media briefing today. She said, no, we had the administrative oversight and we couldn't we couldn't comply with the Act. That's ridiculous to argue that we are going to hand out 1.2 billion rand, but we didn't have the necessary administrative processes in place. That's a lot of money to unscramble the scrambled egg. We say you cannot simply say it's an oversight, administrative oversight, and hand out 1.2 billion rand. That being said, if I accept there is a lot of need in the tourism sector, but that's not only black-owned companies that's in dire straits and dire need. That's all companies, and if you look at the majority of the employees, irrespective of the ownership, whether it's black or white, the majority of the employees are black employees. So if you punish the white-owned companies, you actually punish the black employees working for that companies. So everyone is in dire need. This is not time for politics. If you want to have a fund, then make sure you comply with the Act.
Insights there from Anton van der Bijl, who's a Solidarity legal head, giving us insights on the Tourism Equity Fund, highlighting that it is illegal and excludes other players in the tourism industry. And of course, court applications have been made for some changes to be made to this particular fund. And that's it from the business segment from today, Sally. Tomorrow is a busy day for us. We'll be looking at quarterly employment statistics.